Hey y'all, today we are going to jump into talking about how your partner can best support you during labor and delivery and what their role should be to support you the best. In my experience in working with women who are preparing and leading up to labor and delivery, I see this topic relieve a lot of anxiety in that lead up stage, because when women really feel like their partner knows what they're supposed to do and what their role is and how they are going to be supported during labor and delivery, it really just helps to ease some of those nerves, some of that anxiety for both partner and for mom. Before we jump into it, I do offer Conquer Labor and Delivery workshops. They are held in person here in Arvada, Colorado, and also online on Zoom. If you want to find out more about those, we are going to have the link to those in the description so that you can get more information. But now let's jump into it. Before we can really talk about what your partner's role is during labor and delivery, first we have to talk about what your main role is going to be during labor and delivery. And I know that sounds silly because it's like, well, duh, my main role is delivering the baby. But there's so much more to it. What I want you to think about is that your main job during labor and delivery, while your body is doing all of that hard work for you, is to really stay in tune with your body. So the goal is that you're staying in the zone so that you can read what your body needs from you. You can keep a breathing pattern and really good, deep, meaningful breaths that help support your contractions. And during labor, you're focused on working with your body and not against your body. In order to stay working with your body, you have to stay very, very present in what is happening with your body during every stage of labor, whether it's between contractions, during a contraction, while you're pushing, all of those parts and different times in labor, for them to be efficient, it really requires you to stay present and to stay focused so that you can listen to your body really, really well. So what I found is that in order for mom to do her job well during labor, staying present and staying in tune with her body, then the birthing partner in the room with her needs to be that support and that advocate so that she doesn't have to be that for herself. If we can take all of the load off of mom to ask for what she needs and advocate for her preferences and her wishes, if she feels confident that somebody else is in the room doing that for her, then she is much more equipped to be able to stay present, stay with her body, stay in her contractions, stay in her breathing, and really listen to what her body needs. So for the birthing partner, that support role can look like verbal support, where you've discussed with your partner ahead of time, hey, what words of encouragement, what statements of encouragement or mantras or anything like that would really help you during labor and delivery, or what would drive you absolutely nuts and you don't want to hear from me. And they're equipped and ready to provide those words of encouragement, not just what they think she wants to hear, but what she has verbalized and what she has said, hey, I think this would really help me, help my mental state, help me to stay present if you could provide these words of encouragement. Support can also very much look like hands-on support, where partner is offering counter pressure, hand holding, warm or cold compresses, anything hands-on that mom might need to help with pain management, pain coping, so that she can better stay in her contractions, stay in and with her body and present with what is going on in her body. Those are just very small examples of ways that your partner can support you and provide and be that support person. But what it really takes is talking about that ahead of time so that you can provide that feedback on, hey, this is what I think would be really helpful from you, so that they're not just left guessing and wondering what you want or need. The other piece of partner support involves being the advocate for the mom, and I think this is the part that gets very overlooked. The support piece, I think we all kind of know about to an extent, though it does help to learn a little bit more about it. But the advocacy piece is huge, because when mom has certain wishes or preferences, we don't want her to have the task and the stress and the burden of having to communicate those when the time comes, or communicate those repeatedly. An example of this can be if she knows that she really wants those lights to stay dim in the hospital room. She wants that very calm and peaceful environment. She doesn't want big fluorescent lights on from the hospital room. We don't want mom having to continuously tell everybody that comes in and out of that room that that's her preference and that she's constantly having to ask, can we turn the lights down? Can we turn the lights off? Can we put that lamp on? I really don't want that light off, because every time that she has to do that, she is now not present with what's happening in her body. She has had to remove herself from what is happening in her body during labor so that she can be her own advocate. So I think that's a super important piece that we overlook that partners can provide for mom while she is delivering, is really talking ahead of time about what her preferences and wishes are, and for dad to be really equipped to be that advocate, to speak up for her so that she has the confidence that her wishes are going to be followed, her wishes are going to be voiced, without her having to become unpresent with the labor process in order for those wishes to be heard and spoken to the birthing team or whoever is in the room. So that's a really important piece for the partner. So then we have to talk about, all of that sounds great, but how do we set up the birthing partner to be equipped and empowered to do all of that really, really well? And I've kind of already mentioned it, but that's where communication ahead of time comes in. So being able to sit down together to talk through, what are mom's wishes? What are your priorities for this labor and delivery experience? Together as a couple, what are your priorities for it? But especially for mom to be able to voice, hey, these are all the things that I think would be important to me and the things that I think would be helpful and supportive from you, so that dad can feel like he really knows what his job is and what his goals are and what his role is during labor and delivery, and be empowered to take on that role without feeling like he doesn't really know what mom wants or what his partner wants. That communication piece ahead of time is huge and is really the key to setting up your birthing partner to be able to support you in the way that you know that you need most. That also comes with discussing scenarios ahead of time that are not in the plan necessarily. Of course, no one wants to talk about those things ahead of time, things that don't go to plan or can go wrong during labor and delivery, but equipping them for every scenario that could pop up, that could potentially pop, to the best of our ability. It's really hard to predict what's going to happen during labor and delivery, as we all know, but some of it that we know that we can talk about ahead of time and say, hey, of course we are hoping that this X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, but if it does happen, this is what I would want. This is what my priorities would be, especially if mom is unable to advocate for those things herself. But even if she's able to, we really don't want her to feel like she has to. We want partner to feel like, hey, we talked about this scenario, so I know exactly what she wants, and I'm ready to advocate for that so that she feels really well taken care of and supported. The other thing that I think can really help dad to feel prepared going into the scenario ahead of time is practicing some of these phrases, following mom's wishes, so that it benefits both people, right? It benefits mom and it benefits dad, because dad is getting that practice in and figuring out what words he wants to use, how he feels comfortable saying things, whether it's advocating for her or supporting her with different words of encouragement or whatever that might look like for you. So dad gets that confidence of like, I practiced this, especially if an unwanted scenario pops up. He's practiced it. He knows what he's going to say and how he's going to say it, but also it gives mom that extra level of confidence of, I've heard him handle this already. Like, I heard him handle this when we practiced it at home, so I know he's got it. I'm just going to let him handle that, and I'm going to stay present in my body. I'm going to stay focused on my breathing. I'm going to stay focused and present in this contraction and stay working with my body, because I know my partner can handle it. I've already heard him do it. That practicing piece can be a huge, huge benefit for both partners. If you want to learn more details about how you and your partner can best prepare ahead of time for labor and delivery and make sure your partner is well equipped with much more detail, much more hands-on practice, that is a big piece of what I include in my labor and delivery workshops. If you want to see upcoming dates for that workshop or find out more about it, that link is in the caption to our webpage so that you can see all of the information you may want to know, including upcoming in-person and Zoom dates. In addition to learning about how your partner can best support you, that workshop is also going to go through correct breathing, how you can really use breathing that is beneficial during labor and delivery and during contractions. You're going to learn what your pelvic floor's role is during labor and delivery and how to best protect it through every stage for less recovery or hopefully less recovery afterwards. We also go through labor and delivery positions that, again, work with your body so that we're best supporting your body's role and what your body is naturally trying to do. We also go over all of your options for pain management and pain coping, both medicated and non-medicated options. We talk about pushing, how to practice pushing, how your partner can assist you in practicing pushing so that when you practice at home, you have feedback on, are we pushing correctly? Are we pushing efficiently? Or do we still need to work on it? And then all of that along with prenatal stretches, how to prepare your body leading up to labor and delivery, how to prepare both your body and especially your pelvic floor and your pelvic floor tissue so that none of that gets in the way. And then last but not least, we include lots of good recovery info for postpartum, all of the stuff that you're going to want to know day one to support your body postpartum and to support healing. So again, if you want to check that out, the link is in the description for upcoming dates for the Conquer Labor and Delivery workshops. Thanks for joining today. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments.